Hey team, welcome to week 41 of our drawing challenge. This week we're going to try a little bit of what they call foreshortening, and we're also going to try and go straight for it without having to think too much about theory or strategy on how we can add it on our paper. So a little brief introduction on foreshortening. It's the idea of something being closer to you and it's actually really big, and something being further away and feeling really small. So if we look at my hand compared to my face, you'll see a huge difference in size. So foreshortening is making sure you have the balance between perspective, which is something closer to you, and something further away. So we're going to try it on a shoe today. Another challenge that we have is making sure that our shading is nice and dark. We're going to draw a black boot. So make sure whatever you do, your black boot is very, very black. Okay, grab your pencils and let's get started. So obviously team, for this one, we want to start off with the outline. Now we have foreshortening going on, so it could be a bit of a curveball because you have to recognize that the heel is closer to us, therefore it is much, much bigger. And that means the toes of the shoe are much further away. If you are struggling with the proportions of that, feel free to add these red lines I'm just adding now, and you should hopefully be able to get your sizing in there. Now, it is much more difficult to go against something that doesn't feel right, but trust the process. Draw these red lines on and you'll get it in a very, very good position. I'd say once you're happy with the overall shape, try and get some of the big shapes on there that show very dark edges. So that means something that looks black, you can draw around it and then just shade it in straight away. Just remember, if you make a mistake in a dark area, it's probably never going to be left white. So you can always rub it out and try it again. The only time we'd be worried about pushing too dark is if we know it needs to be white underneath. But with something like this, a black shoe, we know everything is going to be pretty dark, even the highlights. So once you've drawn your outlines, you're going to start pushing your dark shades with your 8B. Just remember team, we have been practicing our shading all year, and I've been asking you to push hard and shade really dark. Drawing is all about light and dark. So in this session, if you've drawn the outline of your dark shadows, push it in dark straight away. Don't wait, don't build up the layers, just be confident and go for it. It's going to give you great results really quickly. Just a reminder, if you like these videos, you can head on over to Patreon to support me so I can make more, or you can just like and subscribe this video, and that would also be wonderful too. Now back to the video. You'll see on mine already it starts to pop, and it is because I'm just looking for those black sections. I'm ignoring anything with a mid shade for now until I'm happy with getting all those black sections on. Then you want to look for those slightly lighter sections so you can see the difference between your black and your really dark grey. The trouble is you don't want to leave it too light like this because it just doesn't look right. You want to really look at how close it is to black and try and add the details on. Now, when you are looking at a lighter area, or perhaps you're thinking, it feels a little bit too light, remember that's the time to introduce your 2H. Your 2H should be a little bit more slower pace. You should be focusing on any little pockets of grey that are poking out, and that's what's going to bring all of your details together. So now's the time to work on your shading with your 2H if you haven't already, and really bring everything together, and you'll see very quickly the shiny leather effect and the lovely contrast of light and dark. So there we have it team. It might take you a bit longer this week because there is a lot of shading detail in there and you have to map out all of those little places for the dark shadows to go. But it's a really fun exercise and really good for our training. So well done, and I'll see you next week for another lesson.